with Stefsonabudget. Welcome back for another video. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. I am excited to set this up with you guys. So if you are new to my channel or new to budgeting, on my channel, in my budget, we use a highlighter method, budget by paycheck, very well, not similar exactly as the budget mom does. She is how I learned to budget this way. And I started budgeting this way back in 2020 as a way to finally get a hold of our finances and be the one in control versus the bank account being in control. And it has helped us tremendously, changed so much in our lives, and helped us to achieve a lot. Not to say there hasn't been setbacks, there certainly has. That's just life. It's, you know, there's never perfection in life. So, but just being prepared with your finances will help you set yourself up for success for when those road bumps come along, because they do. We all know it. So I thought what we'd do today is let's set up March and get ready, because March is upon us and we need to have our budget ready. I am usually, by now, I would have April kind of in place, but I've been slacking. So here we are still setting up March. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how. So you can see March is a blank canvas, and we are essentially going to make it look like this, where we are set up for every paycheck that's going to come in March, and we know where our money is going. We can also make sure that our bills are covered, make any adjustments, and be as prepared as we can for March as possible. So there's as little surprises that we can prevent. Very rarely, in my experience, are surprises in finances a good thing. Every now and again they might be, but usually it's the opposite. So if you are brand new to this type of budgeting, the very first thing that I had to do was really take a serious look at several months of bank statements. That sounds really dull, and it is, but it's important that you understand the reality of your spending so that when you're setting up a budget, it reflects the way that you actually utilize money. Now, does that mean that there's not room to make changes? No, definitely not. The purpose is to better ourselves and put money where, you know, it best fits us, whether that's a debt-free journey or investing in savings, depending on where you're at in your finances. But you also want to be realistic. So, you know, it's important that you know everything that comes out of your accounts, whether it's one or more, what days those come out, what the amounts are, and just being aware of things coming in and out of your bank accounts. So it really took me a while to kind of deep dive into just a couple of months of statements to really figure out, okay, I have all of these subscriptions, they tend to come out on these days. And a lot of us are Apple iPhone users. And if that's you, there's a very easy way. If you go into your settings, the very top thing, you'll see your profile picture. If you just click on that, you'll see a thing that says like view my account or something along those lines at the top. And if you click that there and you scroll down, there's going to be a section that says purchases and subscriptions, and you can actually view things that come out of your Apple account, if you will. So, you know, if you're a Canva user, that's going to come out of there. If you use Apple TV, you'll be able to see that. iCloud, we pay for that. So that's a nice trick for Apple. But if you're not an Apple user, I'm sure Android has something very similar. I just couldn't tell you that for the life of me. But really just getting an idea of listing out every bill you have and every date it comes out on and how much that bill is how you are going to be able to then transfer it to your monthly spread, if you will, or a monthly budget, whatever you want to call it. That'll help you start the setup process. So I have been doing this for years now, so I am pretty familiar with what I have coming out when. And so that part is going to be quicker for me. But I thought we would set it up here together so you can kind of see just putting this in place. And this, without this, my friends, I wouldn't be able to build my budget by paycheck. So this is step number 1 for sure. Okay, let's jump on in. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my monthly spread just because I'm left-handed and I'm like a tilter and these are in my way. So it's easier for me to write that way. Also, you know, there's nothing new in March that's not on February. Let me just check myself to make sure. Yep, okay. So there's nothing new in March that's not on February. So basically I have the luxury of just copy and paste essentially. I am a pen and paper gal when it comes to budgeting. There's just something tangible about putting that pen to the paper. For me, that works better. Not to say that, you know, digital budgeting, it's the same. You just find the method that works for you. I know a lot of digital budgeters that are super successful and that's their preferred method because they're just whizzes at spreadsheets and find joy in that. I am very much a paper crafter, so I like pen and paper. All right, let's pull this out. And look at this, look at March. It's so cute. Look at Stitch. I love this planner. This is a big happy planner. And these are expander discs. I added these to this planner, essentially pulled out all of the planner guts and left like the monthly. And then I use the Budget Mom printable workbook, and that is the budget sheets that I put in here. So let's pull this to the side. We're gonna leave March. So cute. Okay, let's open this up and let me just make sure you guys are in frame, and you are. So the first thing I like to do, if you're new here, one thing I always say is I don't necessarily, when it comes to budget by paycheck, I don't budget from, you know, the first of the month to the last of the month. My paychecks kind of shift because I'm paid on a bi-weekly basis. So sometimes that monthly structure just doesn't fit. So one thing that I like to do is over here in the key, I will list out the pay dates here. Okay, so first things first is we're gonna find out when our paydays are in March. So when do we expect to have income coming in? And for my husband and I, we're both paid on a bi-weekly basis. We get paid the same day. So we're expecting a paycheck on the 8th and the 22nd of March. So I want to note that here in my spread. So I am also a very paper planner person, and I love like decorative planning. So I have tons and tons of happy planner stickers. It's actually kind of ridiculous, you guys. But I will say I have chilled substantially on buying stickers to be able to use some of these up, which is good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just find some payday stickers. You guys, the stickers are absolutely non-essential. You do not need these to be on track with your budget. It's just a personal touch that I enjoy doing with my budget. So we're gonna pop down these payday stickers. And like I said, I gotta turn, you guys, so sorry. Okay, so the 8th and the 22nd. So now if you look, I have days of the week before payday. I'm obviously not gonna be able to pay these bills with this paycheck because I'll be late. So I need to see when my last February paycheck is as well, which is coming up this week on the 23rd. So over here in the side key, I'm gonna do, sorry guys, so 2/23 payday. the 8th and the 22nd. 3/8 payday and 3/22 payday. Okay, so I've got the 3 paydays that are essentially affected for this monthly spread listed over here. And you'll see why those are there here in just a bit. Okay, so first step, find out when you get paid. So we've done that. Next thing we're gonna wanna do is write in all of our bills or expenses that come out and what day they come out. The Budget Mom will teach, if you're an avid follower of her, she also lists things like holidays, appointments, things that might cause expenses to come out of your budget. She puts those in her monthly spread as well, so she can be prepared that there's an activity that's happening that's going to cause me to use money. I don't personally do that. I just kind of let those types of things fall from the sinking funds, because most of the sinking funds we have usually are for holidays or birthdays, you know, things that kind of help offset those expenses, medical appointments, things like that. So I don't focus too much on that, and it seems to work okay, but you certainly can do that if that's helpful to you. So what we're gonna do is, let's just focus one side of the paper at once so I'm not like going back and forth. But basically I'm just gonna go day by day and write in every bill or expense that I have. So this video this is kind of a longer process for me, and so it could make for a very long video, which is probably why I haven't really done them a lot in the past, because I just feel like they're probably a little too boring for you guys because I take so long. But I'll just start listing them and then kind of fast forward you through this part. So on the first, we have an open Home Depot account, you guys, and we don't currently have a balance, but if we did, a payment would be due on the 1st. And because that is an open account for me, it stays in here on the chance that we use that account for something. So even though we're not actively paying on this, it's going there, because if we did, it's due on this day. I hope that makes sense. I've said that before, and I know it's confused other people or given the impression that I think it's, well, I have my cards just in case. That's not the purpose, you guys. They're open accounts, and if we ever used them, we don't want to miss a payment, especially when it comes to credit cards, because there's lots of fees and credit repercussions that come with missing those payments. So if the account's open, it stays here. I don't want to give the impression that I still keep my cards just in case because I'm going to use them. We're trying very hard to get out of that mentality of using debt. This is just what works for us. Okay, so then I'm going to move on to the 2nd, and on the 2nd, I have a student loan payment that's due. So I'm going to write that in. Sloan. Okay, and then just kind of moving on, so on and so on. So I don't have any expenses on the 6th, so nothing goes there. Same for the 7th. On the 8th, so on my paydays, we have a pretty big mortgage, and financially, I mean, in an emergency we could, but we don't, it's easier, it's better for our budget if that's split into 2. So on every payday, we're gonna do half of the mortgage. So it'll look like that. So I know half of our mortgage payment will come out on this payday and this payday, and then we'll combine the 2 of them together here to make our April mortgage payment. So that's how we set up our mortgage. Because it's such a big chunk, it's easier for our budget to break that in half. Okay. Also, on the 8th, we pay our gas bill for our home, so our natural gas. And then that's it. Nothing on the 9th, the 13th, same, the 14th. We pay a water bill for our house. and our City 2 card. Okay, 15th, we have car insurance and Apple Music. So you can just see, I'm listing, I would have taken that list I compiled before starting, right? And now I'm transposing it into a calendar. So I'm just gonna finish filling this out, fast forward you guys, and then we'll come back.
Baby, it's whatever. All this ever about you long gone, it don't matter. Ride or die, that's been the deal. The light of your rock, I disappear. But if you don't play that for me, I'm out of it, I'm out of it. I lick my gun and then I'm done. I'm out of it, I'm out of it. No man to tell me you're no good. I'm brushing away to you, the weight of you, of my shoulders.
Okay, my friends, we are back and we are done. So I've got all of our expenses added into the calendar. So a couple unique things is, so you guys know, if you've been watching my videos or you've been here, in January, we paid off our personal loan, but you'll see it's still on my monthly spread, and I'm just indicating it as a debt snowball. And that just helps me to plan for that money to stay towards debt. And that way it doesn't get eaten up into other areas of my budget, like frivolous spending, that sort of thing. So you'll still see that personal loan, but now it's indicated as a debt snowball. Also, we have, like, Kennedy's not doing cheer anymore, so the payment shouldn't be coming out, but I'll be honest, I'm having a hard time getting actually a hold of anybody to get like confirmation and stuff over there. So I'm gonna leave it there on the off chance something weird happens. So a good example of like accounts that don't have balances on them, but I keep in the spread. For example, this credit card we have on the 26th, we haven't used this in forever, but I forgot that we pay a subscription for our Blink cameras, which are like our home security cameras, and it comes out annually and it is tied to this credit card. So unfortunately, there is now a $100 balance on there. That is what I mean by on the chance it gets used. But now I know, like, I've caught it, and now I know, like, okay, immediately I had the husband get in there and say, hey, we need to get that off of that card and get it coming out of our checking. So that right there is a reason why if an account is still active and open, it stays here, whether we're paying on it or not. There's lots of credit cards here we've paid off together on this channel that are still here because we don't close the cards. So I hope that makes sense, my friends. Okay, next step, once you have everything listed, is, so right off the bat, we know that like all of these bills have to get paid with this paycheck of February 23rd to be paid on time. So let me bring the book back in for just a second. So if we're looking at February, here's the 23rd. I've chosen this red highlight color. So easy right off the bat is I'm gonna grab that same red highlighter and I'm just gonna go ahead and highlight all of these. Again, whether they're open accounts or not, they get highlighted. Okay, and I know my budget well enough to know that there's not an actual payment there, for example, on most of these. But we're gonna go ahead and highlight those, and then we're also gonna go ahead and highlight the 23rd over here. And then I can quickly look at this and see anything highlighted in this color is associated with this payday, and that's when it needs to get paid. Okay, so now we're gonna do the same with the next two actual March paychecks. And March is spring and fun, so I think let's do this lilac and green color. And we'll do let's do the 22nd in green and the 8th in purple, just so it's not Christmassy looking. Okay, now it's not quite as simple as like, okay, everything on the 8th gets highlighted in purple, done. Well, we kind of need to figure out the budget a little bit so we highlight correctly. Okay, and I hope this video comes out as I want it to, just to help anybody that might be thinking of starting budgeting this way, or maybe tweaking your current budget if this is something you're interested in. I'm sorry if it runs really long. It just requires a lot of talking. Okay, so I basically want to go through everything through the 8th through the 22nd and see what that kind of number adds up to. Now, I know my budget pretty well, and I know that on average, I need about $3,000 to $3,200 in bills per paycheck to be kind of evenly spread. And that's just so one payday is not really heavy while another is really light. I like to kind of balance them as long as it works out. So we're gonna walk through it. So I have my mortgage, my gas bill. Now the utilities are kind of a guess, right, you guys? So I always guess on the higher side just to be careful. This month's bill, I think, was like 150-ish. So I'm just gonna err on the side of 170. It's been a pretty mild winter here, but I mean, you just never know. Okay, then we have the personal loan snowball. Oopsies, this calculator. I'm not very good with it. Okay, 170, 150. Our electric bill, I'm gonna go high at 200. That bill stays pretty heavily, it stays pretty steady up there. Our water bill, 130 usually in the winter. City 2, we do have a payment of 115. Our car insurance is 586, which I know it's high, it sucks. Apple Music subscription, 19. Nothing. Netflix is 25. Our Discover is 200. This is our current debt that we're working on. And our Subaru, 459. So 3189. That vibes. Okay. Next, I want to do the next check to make sure that also vibes. Now, I'm going to have to work ahead a little bit in April, right, you guys? Because the month ends here Monday the 31st, which is Easter. But then I still have to get through the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of April before I get paid again on the 5th. So I'm going to want to kind of map that out a little bit too in my head. So let's do this one. 1135. Kindle subscription. I'm going to put in the 65 for cheer just in case. 15 for Disney Plus. I've got this card. I'm going to budget the 100 just to pay it off. Let's see if that works, right? Okay. Then we have that new debt, our oven payment. And I think that's at 125. Okay. Cell phones are usually about 310. We then have our Apple snowball, which is 200. Okay, and then we're at the 1st again, which is here. The 2nd, we do have a student loan that we have to pay. The 3rd, we have the internet, that's 60. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to get through at least the 4th, okay, which is here. Now, we put in the internet, and that is what our expenses are so far for this. That is $1,000 less than what you guys normally see. So what that tells me is likely to balance in April. And this is why I usually have 2 or 3 months ahead. I mean, you don't want to go light years ahead because things change. But I usually will have at least through April. And so I will probably get to work on setting up April as well. But I can tell right off the bat, I'm going to need to cover some extra for April, which you guys have seen me do before. So I'm going to actually pay that Tacoma payment. And that brings my bills up to about where they should. And actually, let's add in our tax payment as well. That gets us at $3,200. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. So what that means is, like in April, even though, let's just use this as an example, it might be bad and I hope I don't confuse you, but essentially what I would do is I would have a payday right here for April, right? And then I would start a new highlight color, but I would still take this and highlight it in the previous color to let me know I'm not paying it with this one, I'm paying it with this one, the previous one. And that's why I use the highlight key, because if you're paying things early, great, you're just ahead of the game, and April's going to be that way. Otherwise, if I don't, I'm going to probably have, $4,000 in expenses for this paycheck, and I can't swing that. So that's why it's important to kind of work ahead a little bit too. So even though I budget by paycheck, I still actually do a monthly budget as well, if that makes sense. So we are good to highlight everything as it should for this month at least. So basically, we're going to payday on the 8th, highlight everything that needs to get paid in purple. Again, even old stuff, you guys, gets highlighted, and I'm just comfortable enough with my budget to know where there's a payment and where there's not. Okay, that's purple. And then we'll do the 22nd, which we designated as green. Oh, it's looking so springy and beautiful. This is why I love pen and paper. If I have a pretty spread, like I like to look at my budget. Like February's, I still love looking at that one. Okay, that is how we set up the highlighter method. I hope I didn't confuse the heck out of you. If you're new, I'd recommend go to the Budget Moms YouTube channel. I literally binge watched tons and tons of her videos to kind of figure it out until it clicked. So that helped me a lot, and I would encourage anybody else to do the same. Okay, then over here I have all this space. So I usually like to designate either a debt goal or a savings goal. I usually do one of each for every month. So typically, as far as a debt goal goes, I will usually just list whatever current debt we're paying off. And then for savings, I list whatever priority savings we have going on, which are not going to change for me from February. We're still working on the Discover card for debt, and we're still working on increasing our emergency fund for savings. Now, we've done kind of the hard part. If you essentially wanted to take this and put together like a monthly budget, what you would do is you'd basically just go through, add up all of your expenses for the month. So if we're looking at it like this, I'm going to just literally start from top to bottom. And just work my way through the whole spread. Okay, so this is how much I have in expenses every month. It's a lot. So I know I at least need to be bringing this in for income to cover our 4 walls. Now, obviously that's a little bit more. There's wiggle room to cut out like a few subscriptions, things like that. But, and we still have quite a bit of debt that we're working on. So if this is my number, what I would then do, and of course, you guys, this doesn't include like your variable expenses. So you would also want to have an idea of what those look like. Those for me are roughly anywhere from $11.50 to $12.50. So let's just err on the side of caution and go higher. So that's what actually my true expenses are with bills, variable expenses, including groceries, gas, takeout, water, whatever those categories look like for you. Keep in mind, we're a family of 6, but we're a household of 5. My oldest son lives out of the home. So we have a large family still at home, you know, a 20-year-old daughter, a 15-year-old daughter, and a 7-year-old daughter. So, you know, essentially 3 adults and 2 kiddos here. So, and my 15-year-old, oh my gosh, she's got like the metabolism of a 15-year-old boy, and she eats like one too, man. So this is our true kind of monthly expenses. Now, if I then take our income, so I'll start with pay 1. That's usually $2,800 per paycheck. So minus $2,800 for one paycheck, minus $2,800 for the second paycheck. Our second pay, I'm going to do the minimum, is I budget $1,700 for the minimum on our second pay, and we have 2 of those coming in. So I can see I'm good. I'm in the green, $114. Now, usually our income comes in a little bit better than that, but I always budget for lowest worst case scenario. So I also know the husband is expecting it's a small bonus, but a bonus is a win in healthcare, you guys. They're nothing to sneeze at, even if they're $50. So he's got something coming in. March is usually budget time for my job, though it's not guaranteed, and we haven't gotten the official word yet. So I'm not putting my eggs in my basket before I got them. So I at least know right now, minimum worst case scenario, lowest income coming in, we're good. We're in the green, $115. That's a win. So that's kind of how you can use this strategy to just give you a month's preview. Now, if this was the other way, I would know, hey, in March, I better be prepared to find some way for overtime or some sort of side hustle to meet my income needs. Okay. Now, all that's left to do essentially is the fun part, and that is decorating. So I will decorate it and then bring you back, because that piece, you guys, takes me forever. I'm so picky about my stickers. It's crazy. I would drive you nuts. But when we come back, you'll see a nice, pretty spring spread, hopefully. Okay, friends, and we are done and we're back. So we're all decorated. It's very springy. This one was fun. It was just kind of picking stickers and slapping them on. I actually, didn't take myself too seriously, which is always nice. But I think it's pretty. I'm going to be excited to use it for March. And from a budget standpoint, we are ready to go. And when we have our first March budget, we're going to be prepared to build that out. So yeah, a totally different kind of video. I hope this, was beneficial to somebody. It's a new video for me, you guys, so I feel kind of lost myself, but I love, just sharing budgeting with people. I actually really enjoy budgeting, kind of strange like that, but for me, it's a lot of fun. Maybe it's the control thing, I don't know. But I hope that you guys learned something, or at least enjoyed, at the very least, seeing me set up my budget and how I do. And maybe this makes the budget by paychecks make a little bit more sense. But I had a lot of fun with you guys today. I hope that you did too. If you like this video and you want to see me set these up in the future, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to subscribe and stick around. And we'll see you in the next one, friends. Bye.